Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 31st of March 2021. It is the last day of March. It has been a brilliant month. This is the Mid Morning Show, and I am your host, Lillian Thomas. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for staying tuned in from morning till this show. We are glad that you are watching. Yesterday I came and I was complaining so much about the weather. It was a very chilly day, and but I know it was very favorable for the farmers. Today it is not as chilly as it was yesterday. The weather is quite good. Not so sunny, not so chilly. A very favorable environment for everyone. And I am so excited about you. How have you been? How has your day been? I presume it is midday. Most farmers get to their farms very early in the morning, and by midday, they are wrapping up. So I presume most of the farmers are wrapping up from their farms, and maybe some are already at home and you're already starting to prepare your lunch. Make sure you feed well. The hard work you do, make sure you gain your energy back. It is important. It is necessary. It is very necessary for you to do that. Today I want to talk about something first before I start my show. As I was coming to work in the morning, I was in a matatu and someone came and sat beside me without a mask. As we are all aware, we have the COVID 19, the third wave is with us, and we've seen the numbers going very high recently. And it is a time when we need to be taking precautionary measures to the next level. And someone walked into the matatu, not putting on their mask, and come and sat beside me. But it was more like two different seats, so he wasn't very near me. There was some social distance. And as we were coming, on our way, just before I got to the bus station, a policeman walked into our vehicle. And the policeman walked into the vehicle. You know, people are used to a policeman comes, and the first thing that they do is maybe they are talking to the conductor, maybe there are mistakes they've done in the road, they are over speeding or something of the sort. The policeman walks in and he's looking at everyone and is like, why don't you have a mask? Why don't you have a mask? And why is there no social distance between you two? And it really intrigued me that we have people who are not taking their personal initiative to take care of themselves to prevent themselves from getting COVID 19. And yet we have people, the law enforcers, the policemen, who are here reminding us what we need to be doing. Okay, this is what I think. This is not the work of the policeman to remind you. It is not. It is not. He did it out of goodwill. Funny thing, he actually gave out masks to people who are not putting on masks. And I have never been so proud of law enforcers in our country as such. And I feel like we are not supposed to be reminded of such things right now, not with the numbers that we have, not with the positive cases we are recording in the country. You don't need someone to be coming around to remind you that you need to put on your mask. So I will start again by addressing everyone out here. If you're getting out of the house, put on your mask, sanitize your hands, wash your hands whenever possible, and do wash your hands for 20 minutes. 20 seconds. Keep social distance. Keep social distance in public places, whether it is in a matatu, it is in a gathering. And if you don't have anything to do, please stay at home. Stay at home. You don't need to be outside. Stay at home. Unless you're providing essential services, stay at home. If you have no other business outside. Okay, so that's just about it, about COVID 19. And a reminder, the mask is not supposed to be hanging at your neck. The mask is supposed to be covering your mouth and your nose. Make sure it does. Make sure it does. It is on a Wednesday. It is on a Wednesday. And I feel like it is midweek. It is midweek because the week started early on. Monday, Tuesday for people who are working. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is midweek. Thursday, Friday, you're concluding the week. And I mentioned it is the last day of March. So we are done with the first quarter of the year. And I want you to do a reflection on this year. What have you achieved in your first quarter? What were your plans? What have you achieved so far? What haven't you been able to achieve in whatever you needed to do? What challenges have you faced? How have you dealt with the challenges that you had along your way? And what are you planning for second quarter? Second quarter is starting tomorrow. What are you planning? It's a new month. The month of April is starting tomorrow. What are you planning? Do you have plans ready? Are you working on them? Do you have everything that you need to get everything moving that you need to do? It is very important that you plan. We always talk about agriculture and we are always telling you about planning. Like everything is about planning. You don't get into agriculture without planning. Whether you're doing agriculture or not, whatever field you might be in, whatever thing you might be pursuing, a plan is very important. So it might be you never really had a plan for the first quarter of the year. It's fine, it's done, it's gone. But for the rest part of the year, can you please get a plan? Get a plan, write down everything that you need to do, whatever you need to, whatever resources you need, write everything down. When you write things down, it becomes so easy for you to implement them. Unlike when you have everything in your head, you can always forgo it. You can always forget. Write everything down and plan for April. Plan for the second quarter of the year, which runs from April, May, June. Plan for the second quarter of the year. And the days are going so fast. I am so shocked that we've concluded the month of March. And in very few days, I know we will be like, yay, it's Christmas holidays. The festive season is here. And 2021 will be done. You need to have achieved something in 2021. No matter the situation we have at hand, I know we have COVID with us right now in Nairobi, Kajiado, Nakuru, Kiambu, Machakos, we actually have a lockdown, the association of movement between the counties. I know you might be hindered in some of your activities, but make sure you've done something at the end of the year. So yesterday we had a very interesting discussion on our Facebook page, on a farmers live on a farmers Facebook page and the Africa Farmers Club Facebook page. And people were actually trying to figure out what other skills do you really need for you to succeed in agriculture. And I found it to be a very interesting conversation because um, most people think agriculture is all about me going to the farm and planting my crops, and that's just about agriculture, or me taking care of my animals, and that is it about agriculture. But it encompasses a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. You can't really work on your own. You can't really rely on one skill for you to succeed in agriculture. You really need a lot of things for you to succeed in agriculture. And that's exactly what I want us to look at today. We want to understand, because I know I have people who might be listening to me and we want to get into agriculture, and you're trying to understand, what do I need, what kind of skills and are needed in the agriculture industry. And we are going to cover that just right now. But if you want to interact with us, please follow us on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are a farmers. We are a farmers, AFARMERS. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media. Make sure you're following our YouTube page. It is a new page. We need more subscribers, so subscribe, like, share our videos if you can. We need people to get information, right? And A Farmers is all about getting information out here, helping our farmers grow in your farming activities and attain your profits from the activities you undertake. That is what we are here to do as a farmers. And we want to work with you. We want to walk with you through the journey in whatever you're doing in agriculture. And that's why we are here for you. I remember yesterday I said, if you need something if you have something that you want being addressed, like a topic you think you might be needing information on, please Get to our social media pages, A Farmers on Facebook. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media, and we'll be very glad to cover whatever you are asking us to cover. So, agriculture is one broad thing. It is one broad thing. The processes involved in agriculture are a lot. Last week we were covering something about agricultural cooperatives, and it was as a result of someone was complaining about markets, and we realized actually we also have to be doing marketing in agriculture. So it is not a sole industry whereby if we have people who are very good in agriculture, let me talk about the professionals in the agriculture industry. So I'm talking about the soil scientists, the agronomists, horticulturists, and the likes. So, and you think if we have this, we can succeed in agriculture. But agriculture is a big industry. From production, you need to sell. You have a lot you need to do in between. And today I want to cover some of the skills that you actually need for you to be able to succeed in agriculture, apart from the agricultural knowledge you have. Apart from the agricultural knowledge you have. Personally, I'd say the agricultural knowledge is the first skill that you need. It is the first skill that you need. Um, we did something on Farm Plan Monday, and it was posted on our social media page on Facebook, in the Africa Farmers Club page, and we were actually telling people when you want to get into agriculture, you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. For you to have a plan, your plan includes everything from what am I going to be planting? How am I going to be doing it? Do I have a piece of land to be doing it on? What are the resources that I need? The capital, it includes everything that you need from way when you are starting to plant until harvesting and selling. You need a plan for that. And for you to have a plan, you see, for me to be able to decide on the kind of crop I'll be planting and the resources that I need for this particular crop, I actually, or maybe the kind of animals that I'll be keeping. Recently, Conrad Kibe did something on poultry farming. For me to decide on what I need to do, I need the information. I need the information. I need to have information. If I am to get into planting, let's say capsicum. What do I know about capsicum? What information do I have about capsicum? Where does it grow? Is it favorable in my soil conditions, in my climatic conditions? Can it do well? What varieties can I actually plant at my place that will actually do well? How do I need to take care of the crop? How is the management done for this particular crop? How is the watering done for this particular crop? You see, it encompasses a lot, and I can't get into agriculture without all this information. I need to find. That's why we keep telling people, do your research. Do your research. We have Google. That's why we want you to do your research. Do your research, find out information that you need to be finding out about this particular crop that you're getting into, or these particular animals that you want to be rearing in your farm. So we need the agricultural knowledge for us to be able to succeed in agriculture. If you don't have the knowledge, that's why we have the professionals around. We have soil scientists who will come and do the soil test for you. We have agronomists who will advise you on the kind of crops to be planting at your place and how you'll do it and the best measures that you need to be taking in your farm. We have these people to provide you with the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you can always get it from the professionals. Now, you already have the agricultural knowledge that you need. What other skills do you need for you to get to the end of the process? The end of the process means you are done with your harvest and you get to sell all your harvest and you're going back again to start planting. You're starting another process. And I want us to go on a short break. But feel free to share with us. Tell us, what skills do you think are necessary in the agriculture industry as at now for you to be able to succeed in this particular industry? Give us your feedback on Facebook at A Farmers, on YouTube at A Farmers Media. We'll be glad to share your feedback and tell us what you think. Tell us where you're watching our shows from. And we'll be back in a few. We're taking a short break. We'll be back in some 2-3 minutes. And we'll continue with the show. We'll talk about other skills that you need to succeed in agriculture.
Cauliflower is a cruciferous vegetable that is naturally high in fiber and B vitamins. Cauliflowers are annual plants that reach about 0.5 meters and bear large rounded leaves. As desired for food, the terminal cluster forms a firm succulent cud or head that is in form of a cluster of flowers. Cauliflowers do well in fertile well-drained soils that are rich in organic matter. Just like other plants, cauliflowers are also affected by different kinds of pests and diseases which can hinder its growth, including unfavorable climate and growing conditions.
The many problems you will see in cauliflowers, and this one just one of them. You can see how the problem is. It's called riciness. You can see it living in a chana, that is, yeah? Living each other. As you always say. But this one is usually caused by low temperatures. Yes. Low temperatures. Low temperatures during planting leads to this problem. So you have to make sure during planting you have favorable temperatures for your crops. Always talk to your agronomist when you plant, so you can know when to plant what and what works when. Temperature will depend on your area, the area you are in. Because I can't tell you are in Nyandarua, I want to grow this, and you are in somewhere in in coast, it's too hot. Yes, so that will depend also in your locality. Yes, and also if you are in those climates where it always changes. So you have to know when is the cold season. In cold season you can't do this because of A, B and C. And if it's too hot, you can do A, B, and C. So always, that's why I'll just have an agronomist. Will guide you through it. Yes. And also do your market research and know what works where before you grow something as a farmer. Don't just do guessworks. There's a lot of pests that attack cauliflower. The most notorious one is aphids. Aphids will circle your leaves, and one thing you'll know, there's aphids on your leaves. They're always curling. Yes, they will eat, or they will suck the sap out of the leaf. And now, when they are too weak, they start curling. They curl inwards. So that's how you'll know you have aphid attack on your farm. Yes. And now what you can do to control aphids on your farm is always keep them in check by spraying. There's always a chemical solutions to it. There's a biological, and then there's IPM. Yes. The perfect head, I'll say it looks like this one. Look at this. It's perfectly round, and it doesn't have any spots on it, and it's intact. That's what makes a perfect head, and is a good size, good market size. Not too small, not too big, not overgrown, just perfect. Yes.
As we quickly progress from agriculture to agribusiness, market is key. Join us every Wednesday as we bring to you Market Watch, a show that covers candid discussions regarding the state of the market. Tune in and let's turn our farms into businesses.
Welcome back to the show. Good afternoon to everyone who is joining us right now. We had earlier on started the show. This is the mid morning show on Air Farmers, and I am your host, Lillian Thomas. And I am glad that you're watching, that you're tuned in. Give us your feedback about the show on Air Farmers on Facebook, on YouTube. We are at Air Farmers Media. We'll be glad to sample your feedback. So make sure you stay interactive. Make sure you talk to us. Tell us, what do you think? What do you think? Our topic today has been succeeding in agriculture, and we are trying to look at what other skills do you need as a person getting into agriculture for you to succeed in agriculture. Do you solely need the agricultural knowledge for you to succeed? I think otherwise. I think you need more skills for you to succeed in agriculture. Other than the knowledge, you need other skills for you to succeed in this industry. And as a reminder, make sure you're putting on your mask. Your mask covers your mouth and your nose. Make sure you're sanitizing, you're washing your hands for 20 seconds, and you are keeping social distance. Let us help each other flatten the curve. Take your own personal initiative, but with joint effort, we'll be able to flatten the COVID-19 curve. in our countries, right? Right. So before I get back into the discussion, so I wanted to read for you the proverb of the day. My proverb today says, I think I have repeated it, but I felt like it relates a lot with what I am speaking about today. So I am going to read it for you, and we are going to explain it at the end of the show, just before we conclude. My proverb says, knowledge is like a garden. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. We'll just give the meaning at the end of the show as we conclude. You can keep thinking about what it means. Try to relate it with what I am talking about today. I am talking about skills you need for you to succeed in agriculture. And our proverb today is talking about knowledge. Try to relate it. Maybe you'll make something out of it, but I'll give you the meaning at the end of the show. So I want to get back. I want to get back to my discussion today. So before I went on the break, I was talking about agricultural knowledge as a skill that you need for you to get into agriculture. And as said, if you lack the knowledge, you lack the information, you might not have pursued agriculture as I did. You might not have. You might not understand what is going on and you want to get into agriculture. There are sources of information that you can always rely on. We have the internet, but on another end, the internet is not always so credible, it is not always so authentic. So I'd prefer working with a specialist in the field, working with the professionals in the agriculture industry. So it's more about you working with the soil scientists, working with the agronomists, working with the pathologists. These people will actually help you get the information that you need for you to be able to do your farming activities in the proper way. In the proper way. So you get the knowledge. Do you have the technical skills? I want to ask, do you have the technical skills? Do you know how to use the machinery that you have in your farm, which is very important. You need the technical skills for you to be able to operate the machinery that you have in your farm. And also, when using the farm implements, it actually need the technical skills. How do you mix? I know for people who actually spray, especially the pesticides, there's a way you're supposed to be mixing the pesticides. There's a way you're supposed to spray. Do you have the skills that are needed? Do you? Do you? Have you taken a step to try and get the information? And that's why I give you a proverb on knowledge. What step have you taken in trying to acquire information about these skills, the knowledge about these other skills that you actually need for you to be able to succeed in the agriculture industry? Um, in the farming activities, you get to see a lot. You get to see a lot. For me, I'd declassify disease management as a technical skill. It is a technical skill. The moment you've planted your crops and your crops start getting infested, are you able to scout for pests? Are you? Do you know how to scout for pests? Can you identify pests in your field? Can you identify when your crop actually has a problem? Do you? I will give you a very, very easy thing that I know most farmers always recognize as the first thing. You have planted your skuma wiki vegetables in your farm and they are growing. And after some days, like when a plant is very healthy, the leaf surface is very broad, it is quite flat, it is exposed. But after some time, you find your leaf is curling upwards. That makes you realize there's a problem with your crop. If the leaf surface is curling upwards, it could be due to aphids. Are you able to identify such things? Are you able to do that? I will introduce you to an app I recently got to know about that is really effective in such cases. We have the Plantix app. The Plantix app is available in our Google Play Store. It is available in Google Play Store. You download it, have it in your phone. All you need for you to use it is data. All you need is data. All you need is data. So if my crop has a problem, I take my phone. I have the app in my phone. I take the phone. I take a photo using the app. I take a photo of the crop that I think is diseased or infected by pests. I take the photo, I scan it, I diagnose the disease. Plantix does that for you for free. You don't have to pay a thing. No, 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 no. You don't have to pay a single thing. So it diagnoses for you, and actually, in most cases, it actually gives you a remedy of what you're supposed to be doing to get rid of the problem or to control the problem. So disease management is under the technical skills that you need. Yesterday I did something on IPM. If you didn't watch the show, please make sure you do watch it. It was very informative. It was the mid-morning show and the topic was integrated pest management. You can go back and watch the show. The videos are uploaded on our Facebook page, A Farmers, YouTube at A Farmers Media. Make sure you catch up with all the other shows that you might have missed. But disease management, I'll say, is a skill that you need to be having, which for me comes under the technical skills. It falls under the skills that you need in your farm for you to be able to be operating around, which includes using your farm implements, disease management. How do you detect diseases? How do you manage the diseases that you have on your farm? How do you use the chemicals you have on your farm? How do you use the chemicals you have on your farm? We don't want farmers using chemicals in an extra amount that is actually harmful to the consumer, harmful to the environment. We are advocating for more organic things, less chemicals being used. How are you using your chemicals? Are you applying a surplus amount? Are you applying the right amount? These are some of the technical skills that you need in combination with the agricultural knowledge for you to be able to succeed in agriculture. There is a skill I failed to mention. I feel like I should have mentioned it earlier before. And especially it comes in no, actually, it comes in at this point. Record keeping. Record keeping. So you have your farm plan, you attain your knowledge, you attain your knowledge on what you need to plant, how it is done, and everything. You get your technical skills, how you control your diseases, how you use the farm implements you have, how you apply chemicals on your plants. That comes under the technical skills. And then we have record keeping. Record keeping. For a very long time, we've had record keeping mainly in the finance industry, mainly in the finance industry and the business industry. And I will remind you, agriculture is a career, agriculture is a business. Most people I know are doing agribusiness, so it is a business which requires you to be keeping your records. To be keeping your records. What records are you keeping? No, I should ask. How many farmers out here are actually keeping records? Do you know how much you spent during the production process? Do you have tabs on what you got back after you finish the production process? I I would encourage every farmer to have a record keeping system. You need a record keeping system for a starter farmer. A starter farmer, all you need, I have my notebook here. So all you need is a notebook, a very simple notebook. So you will come, underline it into two on one side and on the other side. On this side, you can decide to include all your expenses because when you're getting into farming, you will be using money. So on this side, I have my expenses. If I am buying seeds, I write my seeds, I buy them at this price, and make sure you have receipts of everything you acquire for the farm. Make sure you have your receipts. Every shop you go to, Most agrovets give out receipts. Ask for a receipt. It helps you manage yourself in a better way. We don't want people making losses because your financial management was very poor. We don't want you to be doing that. So, on one side, you have your expenses. Make sure you account for every little thing you purchase. Whether you didn't have a djembe and you needed to buy a djembe, include it. Include it. The seeds, the cost of labor, everything that you incurred in the production process. And then on this other side, now you can come into what have you gotten back? What is your income? What is your income? At the end of your farming period, we want you to balance the two. We want you to balance the two from your output and whatever you used as your input in the production process, the amount of money you put into your agriculture business. Have you made a profit? Have you made losses? Have you made a profit? Have you made losses? I find record keeping to help us. It helps us keep a systematic flow of inputs and outputs. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. A systematic flow of inputs and outputs. Everything that you get into the business has to be accounted for. Anything you get from the business has to be accounted for, such that when you're getting back into another farming period, you know how much you spend, you know what you gain back. If you are to increase your farming activities, you can actually make a prediction of it because you have the statistics with you. um it keeps you in check. It keeps you in check, especially with your finances, so that you don't go extra. You don't go extra. I know people who are spendthrifts. If they don't monitor themselves, they can always go extra. They can always go extra in everything that they do. So I'd say for a basic farmer, basic basic thing, just need a notebook, you need a pen. Make sure you have all your receipts, make sure you account for everything, you write everything down. It is very important that you keep your records. They will help you gauge yourself. Have you made profits? Have you made losses? To what extent? What is the percentage of whatever you are doing? And for a more professional farmer, there are softwares that you can always use. There are softwares you can always use to do this. I know people who use the Excel sheets. Excel sheets might be complicated for people who have no knowledge in Excel, but we always have softwares. We have the financial management software. It will help you accredit, it will help you actually give account for all your finances in the agriculture business that you're doing. And depending on what more you are into specifically, we have the dairy management software, we have the crop production software. And I know if you are watching me on Facebook right now and you are watching me on YouTube, you have access to the internet. You can actually access these softwares. So make sure that you access the softwares, use them for your record keeping skills. It is very important that you keep record of whatever you are doing. We said this is a business. This is a business. Everything has to be accounted for. So make sure you have your softwares helping you manage and keep your records. You have kept your records in your farm. So we already talked about the agricultural knowledge, the technical skills you need in your operation, day-to-day operation. You have kept your records with the record keeping skills that you have. And then maybe no, actually you've gone through the production process and you are harvesting. What other skills do you need in this other stage? After harvesting, what other skills do you need in this other stage. I want to talk about marketing. Marketing, you need to market your produce as a farmer. Marketing goes hand in hand with advertising. I feel for me, they go hand in hand. Value addition. How many people are adding value to their produce? Or are you just taking it as a raw material to the market? Is that how you're selling your produce? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Give me your feedback. On Facebook, we are at A Farmers. On YouTube, it is A Farmers Media. And I'll be looking at a poll that we put up yesterday on the the Africa Farmers Club page. Those are all our pages. Make sure you're following our pages. You will be getting more content, more farming tips, which are very helpful for you. Um, our poll yesterday was saying, apart from agricultural knowledge, what other skills do the youth need to participate in the industry to help farmers succeed? And we gave 5 options. Our options were business management, accounting stroke record keeping, advertising, marketing. And then the last option was all the above. And people voted. People voted. Actually, this is what made me come to talk about this topic today. People voted on these things: business management, record keeping, advertising, marketing, and all the above. And in a short while, I'll be going through the feedback that we had. But before then, I'd like to talk about marketing as a skill that you need as a farmer. Marketing is a skill that you need as a farmer. Last week I did a show on agricultural cooperatives, the role of agricultural cooperatives, and I brought it as a way to tackle a marketing challenge that a farmer addressed. A farmer addressed an issue about middlemen. So this particular farmer said a middleman came to their farm and wanted to buy a head of cabbage at 6 shillings. Like, how are we selling a head of cabbage at 6 shillings? The cost of production per head of cabbage is around 10 shillings. How then do we get to a point whereby we have to sell our head of cabbages at 5 shillings? How are you marketing your produce? I feel like marketing is a very important skill that a farmer needs to be having for them to be able to market their produce. We had other skills that we had included in our poll. So we had business management, record keeping, advertising, marketing, value addition, agriculture extension, stroke information management and value chain, and digital stroke social media skills, and we had engage in farming, and we had customer service, and we had votes coming in, and I'll tell you what the votes were like in just a bit after I have covered what I had in mind that I feel you need to be having as a skill for you to be able to succeed in agriculture, either as a career or as a business that you are undertaking. And I will read the comments that people give and the information they had to give us, the feedback they had to give us. Give me your feedback of what you think. What other skills do you think are important for a person getting into agriculture, in the agriculture industry? What skills do you feel are important for you to succeed in this particular agriculture industry? Give me your feedback on Facebook. We are at A Farmers. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media. I'm your host, Lillian Thomas, and this is the Mid Morning Show. And on other skills that I need to be talking about, I will address the marketing skill. So we said a farmer last week had an issue with the marketing thing, and they were using brokers. and the brokers were buying their produce at a very low price, making the farmers to actually incur losses, which is not what we want for someone who is doing agriculture as a career or as a business. You need to be able, okay, food is a basic need, it is a basic want, right? So there is market for food. There is market for food. But how are you marketing your food? Because we found out last week, um, I might be producing cabbage. The next farmer is producing cabbage. The other farmer is producing cabbage. The other farmer is producing cabbage. At the end of it all, you realize that we, at the end of the production period, we have surplus in our region. We have surplus of commodity in our region. How do we then market this surplus product that we have? Because we can't all sell the cabbages in our region. What step am I taking? How am I marketing my produce to sell it in other regions? How am I getting it to other markets? Which is very important for us to be able to avoid the post harvest losses that come about because of lacking market. Because if I have no market and I have my produce, this is cabbage, which needs to be sold when fresh, and I have no market, what what comes out of it? My cabbages will rot and I will make losses. These are post-harvest losses that we are trying to avoid. Marketing is a skill that you need. Marketing is a skill that you need. Know how to market your produce to different people, either at the place you are at. Get to know other markets that you're working with. How do you get your produce to the markets that we have out here? How are you getting to the market? How are you selling? Someone commented on that post and they said, what if we sold in blocks? Like, we have the Western region producing a lot of maize, right? And then we have the Eastern region producing a lot of, let's say, potatoes and cabbages. What if we traded in blocks? What if we marketed our things in blocks? We take our maize and market it on this other side where we don't have maize. They bring their potatoes and cabbages and market it on this other side where we don't have the potatoes. Marketing is a skill you need as a farmer for you to avoid making post-harvest losses due to lack of market. Find a market, know how to market your produce. Last week, the breakfast show host, Grace Modoni, did a show on digital marketing in agriculture. How are you using the digital markets to market your produce? Are you using the social media pages that we have to market your produce? Are you? Are you not? How are you marketing your produce? Do you rely on someone to come and take your produce from wherever you are? You need to have marketing skills for you to succeed. When you have your harvest, on another angle, for you to avoid making post harvest losses, are you adding value to your produce? Value addition is another skill that you need. Value addition is another skill that you need for you to succeed in this agriculture industry. You selling raw tomatoes, a tomato might sell at 5 bob or less, a single tomato, right? But when you decide to make tomato paste out of your tomatoes, when you decide to make tomato sauce out of your tomatoes, it actually adds value to your produce, and the produce that has been added value into. A tomato paste is way expensive than tomatoes. Yes. Tomato sauce is way expensive than tomatoes. Yes. It actually increases on the income that you will get back from your produce, and it actually helps you avoid the post harvest losses that you might be incurring. So it is important that you actually add value to your produce. I saw something somewhere today morning. Someone was talking about adding value to charcoal, and they were producing. There is something called activated charcoal, mainly used in the beauty industry. And for people, me, I have it in our home. In our home, we use it to treat basic things. You have stomach upset, your face is breaking out, And I buy a jar of it at 250 shillings. I buy a jar of activated charcoal at 250 shillings. Yet I buy mkebe of charcoal at 50. Do you see what happens when you add value to your produce? You actually earn more from your produce. When we come back, I want to take a break, but when we come back, I'll be looking at the interpersonal skills that I think are very important for any farmer in the agriculture industry. And I'll also be reading the comments we had from the poll that we did yesterday, and I will be explaining to you the proverb of the day that I read earlier on that said, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. I'll be giving you the meaning. And on top of that, I have a farming tip for you. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the show. Give us your feedback on A Farmers on Facebook. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media. Make sure you are subscribing to our pages. Follow, like, share. Let's get the information out here. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back after a few minutes.
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the top proportion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there is at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions. Melon is a trailing vine in the gourd family. The word melon can refer to either the plant or specifically to the fruit. Watermelon is a type of melon that is sweet and refreshing fruit. Watermelons can either be grown on home gardens for small-scale farmers or large-scale depending on the market demand. You can either transplant or plant watermelon seeds directly. For best performance, plant watermelons in hot, sunny locations with loose, fertile, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. It is best to plant watermelons on raised rows and ensure that the soil pH is between 6.0 to 6.8. On average, it takes around 3 months for a watermelon to grow from seed to mature fruit, with smaller varieties having shorter growing times than larger varieties of watermelon. Watermelon growing, if done rationally and on a scalable basis, can be a good source of income.
Welcome back to the show. This is the Mid Morning Show, and I am your host, Lillian Thomas. And just before the break, we were talking about the skills that you need as a person for you to be able to succeed in agriculture, which we think is very, very important that you have all these other skills apart from your agricultural skills that will actually help you succeed in the industry. And before we went on the break, I covered several skills. I covered marketing, I covered value addition, I did also cover record keeping, which I think are very important for any person who is in this industry and actually would like to succeed in the industry. And before we went on the break, I read for you the proverb of the day. I'm going to read it again and think about it. I'll give you the meaning towards the end of the show, as I also give you the farming tip of the day that you need as a farmer. The proverb of the day says, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Yes, whatever you do with that information is up to you, but I'm going to give you the definition of this proverb at the end of the show. And as I mentioned earlier, we conducted a poll yesterday on the African Farmers Club Facebook page. Make sure you're following the page. It's actually, you get to be educated a lot more with our regular posts. So our post yesterday, we had a poll, and our poll was asking, apart from agricultural knowledge, what other skills do the youth need to participate in the industry to help farmers succeed? Apart from agricultural knowledge, what other skills do the youth need to participate in the industry to help farmers succeed? Our options were business management, accounting stroke record keeping, advertising, all the above, marketing, value addition, agricultural extension, information management and value chain, digital stroke social media skills, engage in farming and customer service. And you guys voted. You guys voted, and we get to understand what you think is more important, what skill you think is more important. And even from your votes, of the skills that you need are important, that you think are important, as a farmer, as a person in the agriculture industry, what step are you taking into getting these skills? What step are you taking into acquiring these skills? Are you improving your skills? Do you have these skills? Are you actually outsourcing for these skills? Because I think we talked about this thing last week with Noah Kadima on this very show, the mid morning show. And we said you can't always do everything. Like I have talked about marketing. Not everyone is a good marketer. Not everyone is a good marketer. Personally, I don't think I am very good at marketing. I don't think I can actually even convince you to buy something. But I have an option of actually working with a marketer, someone who is a professional in the field, to help me do the work. Are you outsourcing for some of these skills? Let us know. Let us know on our social media pages. Facebook, we are at A Farmers. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media, a Farmers Media. Make sure you give us your feedback. Give us your feedback. We'll be sampling it. We actually do respond to your feedback in due time. So feel free to talk to us. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know what you need to be covered also. What topic do you want us to talk about? What do you think? What what kind of thing do you think you lack information in? We'll be glad to share it with you. We have professionals with us. We will be having guests in the studio with us to actually cover what you think needs to be covered. So make sure you're staying interactive with us. In the marketing, I covered something about marketing skills and value addition skills. And something crossed my mind. When you are marketing, if it so happens that you are very good in marketing and you are in the agriculture industry, there is something extra that you need on top of your marketing skills. You need the interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills actually deal with how do you relate with people? How do you communicate with people? What are your communication skills like? When you walk out here, you find a lot of people actually have very, very poor communication skills. You find someone selling something to you and they are very rude. Very, I I know of many shops I have walked into and I am asking for something in your shop, and either you are hesitant, you are in no hurry, you are in no hurry. It's your business, I know. But you are in no hurry to offer me services that I need. For some of them, you actually find them to be very rude. So you ask for something and they're like, Kwani hauioni? Can't you see it? And I'm like, wow, this is a business, man. Honey, this is a business. And if it is a business, you have to do it the right way. You can't be rude and you expect me to continue buying this from you. Nah. It's my money. I'll walk away. It suits me. So yeah. Um, I find most people in this industry, your interpersonal skills might be a little off. So if you are doing the marketing thing, make sure you have very good interpersonal skills. because you are marketing, you are advertising, you are doing the sales. Make sure you have very good communication skills. Actually, did you know that communication skills is a course you can do? It is. It is. If you feel like you have very poor communication skills, I think you should enroll for the course. Enroll for the course. Get to learn. Get to improve your communication skills. It will help you in how you sell, how you market, and how you advertise yourself to other people. Um, so I don't know if this is a skill, but for me, it is a skill. The agriculture industry shifts. It always shifts. From this era to this era, the consumer tastes are always shifting. Today, a consumer prefers their tomatoes in a very big size. Tomorrow, they prefer them in a very small size. Today, yeah, today the consumer likes the. Have you seen the giant leaf managu? Managu is African nightshade, or people call it black nightshade. That is managu. We call it managu from my language. I am Kisi. We call it amanagu. It is managu. I know the Swahili call it mnavu. The Luos call it osuga. I think osuga, if I am not wrong. Yeah, managu. Managu, we have a lot of varieties around. We have the indigenous variety that I know most people do. Actually, in Kisii, it is the most common type that we grow. The leaf size is not very big, so it is such a size, not very big. And when you come to our agrovets and our research places, I ever planted a variety. It was called the giant leaf manago. The leaf size can be this big. The size of my palm, the leaf size can be this big. And you find we have consumers who prefer this giant leaf manago. Someone like my mother, she prefers her original manago in the size she's used to. This small size, up to that size. It is all preference that varies between consumers. And that's why I think this for me needs to be a skill, because I feel like consumer tastes are always shifting, they are always changing. How adaptable are you? How adaptable are you as an agriculturalist in the field? As a producer, how adaptable are you? Adaptability for me is a skill that I think everyone should be having, because we are shifting day in, day out. The consumer's taste is changing day in, day out. Also, technology is improving. Right now, we are actually using technology in agriculture. How adaptable are you? Do you have the adaptability skills to deal with it? Do you? Are you actually dealing with it? Do you? Um, because I feel like as we are shifting, the technology is improving, so we are incorporating technology into what we do to make our work easier. Are you adaptable to do that? Because think of a situation whereby a farmer in 1980, we are in 2021, so a farmer in 1981, 30 years ago, 30 years ago, we didn't have a harvester. We didn't have a harvester. Right now, we have a harvester. You can actually get a harvester into your farm to help you with your farming, with your harvesting needs. How adaptable are we to these technologies that we are having? How adaptable are we to the consumer tastes that are always changing day in, day out? When I'm also talking about adaptability, it brings me to a point where um, I'm reminded of we are in a digital era. We are in a digital era. Most things are done digitally. I have introduced you to the Plantix apps. That is digital and helps us to identify our pests and diseases that we have in our crops and in our fields, right? Um, Last week, Grace Modoni on the Breakfast Show did something about digital marketing. As a farmer, have you adapted to these changes? Do you have the adaptability skills for this? Or are you remaining in your old ways that may not be as functional right now? Are you shifting? Are you shifting with how the world is shifting, with how the consumers are shifting? Are you easy to adapt to such? Because as a farmer right now, you need to know how to use a smartphone, right? You need to know how to use the internet for you to acquire information, right? We have farmers who are selling their produce online, which is another skill. Digital skills. Do you have them? Do you have them? For me, digital skills is a skill on its own that I think every farmer should be having. The world is digital. We have shifted. We are in a digital era. Digital skills are a must for everyone. WhatsApp works for most people. Facebook is the most common platform that I have seen most farmers in. Most farmers are out here in Facebook acquiring information, discussing, laying out their issues. So, are you in the digital world? Are you on social media? Are you? How are you using it to benefit you as a farmer, to help you improve, to grow you in the industry? And I want to look at the poll that I had. So, allow me kindly to repeat reading the poll that we had. The poll that we had said, apart from agricultural knowledge, what other skills do the youth need to participate in the industry to help farmers succeed? We had business management, record keeping, advertising, marketing, value addition, agriculture extension, digital stroke social media skills, engaging farming, customer service. And this is what our farmers had to say. Farmers in Africa Farmers Club said, the most important skill that people need to succeed in the agriculture industry is business management. Business management. How well do you manage your business? We said agriculture is a business. How well do you manage your business? Are you making profits? Are you making losses? Are you tracking your expenses? Are you tracking your, like, how are you accounting for everything? Yes, business management. Business management is actually even a course. If you think you lack the skills, enroll. Enroll education. Education is here to benefit everyone. Um, from business management skill, it actually had 80 votes. We had record keeping with 47 votes. So people think record keeping is the second most important skill that anyone needs to have. And I think I give you the reasons because it helps you account for your inputs and outputs in the business. You can be able to track if you're making profits or you're making losses. You can adjust very easily if you are keeping your records. And as said, we have softwares, we have apps that you can actually use. If you can't, use the layman's way of doing it. Use a notebook. Make sure you have receipts of everything you purchase. It will help you keep your records very well, very well, very well. People thought advertising. Advertising is the third most important skill that you need. That you need. For me, I feel advertising and marketing goes hand in hand. So advertising had 32 votes, marketing had 17 votes. I feel like advertising and marketing go hand in hand. These things work together. You advertise, advertising is a way of marketing. So people feel people need to advertise their goods. Where are you advertising your produce? We have social media. How are you using social media to advertise your produce? Are you using Facebook? Are you using WhatsApp? Because I see nowadays you can post something on WhatsApp. We have groups in WhatsApp. Are you using them to advertise yourself? Marketing had 17 votes. Value addition had 12 votes. So people still think it is very important that you actually add value to your produce. And I have told you about tomatoes. You can add value to your tomatoes by actually making tomato paste, by making tomato sauce out of it, by making all these good things that we need to make out of it that are actually more pricey than you selling raw tomatoes, which helps you gain more profits than what you would actually get back from selling a raw product. Another thing that I feel people felt is very important value addition, they say that it is important. So people think agriculture extension services and the digital stroke social media skills are at the same level. So 11 votes for each. Agriculture extension, I said, if you don't have the information, make use of the professionals we have in the industry. They will help you. They will do their work and you will get what you need. Social media, stroke digital skills. It is something you can always do on your own. You have your smartphone, learn how to use your smartphone. How can you market yourself using your smartphone? How can it come in handy for you to do this? Yes, and the so people think all these skills are important, and I know I have covered all these skills in my discussion. So I will read some of your comments. John Wanjo, he says, "Thank you for the information." Okay, John. Um, Chris Topaz said, "I'll select all of the above mentioned skills. Personally, I think all skills are important." James Luther says, environmental knowledge, the aspects of market fluctuations, the modes and means of transportation, storage, value addition, and many more are skills that people need to have. Nukman Alibase says, great information. Digital skills is another important one which farmers could be successful if they use well. Go back and watch a show that Grace Modoni did on the Breakfast Show about digital marketing skills. Please do, please do. You will find it to be very informative. Millie Ann says record keeping is a very important skill. Susan Gishuhi says value addition. Tomato paste making is ringing in my head. I have given that as an example. Susan Gishuhi, thank you for your feedback. Robert Makio says everything, every skill is important. Linda Chepkwani, always giving us feedback, says value addition is a very important thing. Value add your produce. It helps you produce, it helps you avoid post harvest losses, and it actually makes you gain more profits. Agrippa Kiplimo says develop agripreneurial skills, digitalize farming. I said we are in the digital era. We are shifting into a digital era. Make sure everything you're doing, you're making good use of the digital space that we have around. David Ndolo says, ICT skills, soft skills that I have mentioned, such as interpersonal skills, financial literacy, I said you can do that by record keeping, physical fitness. Thank you all for your feedback. And all these skills are important in the agriculture industry for us to succeed. So I'll just go back and explain to us. Um, Wait, just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. I want to explain to us the proverb of the day. My proverb said, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. The meaning of the proverb is if you don't make effort to acquire knowledge, then you will not expect to have it. And if you do not put the knowledge you have to use, you cannot expect to gain anything from it. I have talked about several skills that you need to be having for you to succeed in the agriculture industry. All these skills are something that you can actually make good use of for you to succeed. And for the skills that you don't have, what are you doing about it? Are you trying to acquire information about them? This is what we talk about when we are referring to knowledge. Are you acquiring the information? Are you trying to get the knowledge that you need about these skills? And after acquiring the knowledge, are you using the knowledge that you have on these skills? And the last bit of my show, I am winding up the show. I am going to relate something. It is a farming tip, and it is not necessarily on the farm, but I am relating it to what I have talked about today. So I am giving you a farming tip as a farmer. What you need to be doing. It is on Wednesday. On Wednesday, it is usually Market Watch Wednesdays, and so my farming tip is more aligned into the marketing skill I talked about. So I am going to talk about marketing. I am going to give you 3 easy steps to get started on social media marketing today. We are advocating for doing everything digitally. We are advocating for everything to be done digitally. We want you to, as a farmer, are you marketing your produce digitally? And I want to give you 3 easy steps to get started on social media marketing today. How are you using your social media pages, Facebook, WhatsApp, and any other platform you might be on? The first step is start posting content today. Start posting content today. It has never been easier to create and post content for an audience to see. Whether you're sharing a third party content or general, just start sharing today. The more you post, the more people get to you say it, the more people get used to it, the more people will interact with you, right? So start today. Don't say, this thing of procrastinating, I'll do it tomorrow, another day. No, just start today. Start wherever you are today with whatever you have today. If for now, whatever platform you have is Facebook, start today. Posting things on Facebook is so easy. If it's WhatsApp, start today. Second, use Facebook ads in your marketing. Um, there's a way when you post in Facebook, you can actually boost your posts in order to reach more people. You should do that. You should do that, especially if you have a page. Maybe you're dealing with produce you're selling or services you are offering in the agriculture industry. Please, let's use the Facebook ads. It is not very expensive. Sometimes in Kenya, it can go to as low as 300 shillings, and it helps you reach more people. The third tip is invest in video content platforms like YouTube. You can always, if you have a smartphone, you don't really need a camera. If you have a smartphone, you can actually take a video and upload it in your YouTube channel, on your Facebook page, and you get to share whatever you have to share. This has been the mid morning show. I have talked about the skills that you need to succeed in the agriculture industry as a professional in the industry, whether as a farmer or as a producer. There are skills that you need. Make sure you obtain these skills. My proverb today was talking about acquiring knowledge. Make sure you acquire knowledge. When you acquire knowledge, use the knowledge that you have acquired. My farming tip has been about social media marketing. Can you start marketing your things on social media? Yes? No? Okay. Please do. Please do. Start marketing your produce on social media. I have been your host. My name is Lilian Thomas. This has been the Mid Morning Show. I'll be live again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We might be on the studio with Noah Kadima. So be sure it will be a very good show. Make sure you're staying tuned in. In the afternoon, we'll be having Conrad Kibe coming in for the Farm Drive show as from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Make sure you are watching all our shows. And tomorrow morning, Grace Modoni will be coming in for the breakfast show tomorrow morning at 8:30 o'clock. Make sure you are tuned in for our shows. Any shows you might have missed, our videos are up on our social media pages. Make sure you get to watch them. If you have any questions, you have any comments, Give us your feedback on our social media pages. Facebook, we are A Farmers. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media. So keep interacting with us. Keep giving us your feedback. We'll always reply to you in due time. Until tomorrow, adios. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay safe. You put on your mask, you sanitize your hands, and you keep social distance. And from me, it is a goodbye.